You're going to hear the Antichrist boasting. He's the best. He knows everything. He's the best at everything. The Bible says to consider others better than ourselves. That's what the Bible says. But when you're the Antichrist and you're the most wicked man and you're so full of yourself.
Nobody can do it like me. Nobody. Nobody can do it like me. Honestly.
Nobody's stronger than me.
Nobody has better toys than I do.
There's nobody bigger or better at the military than I am.
Nobody loves the Bible more than I do. Nobody builds walls better than me. Nobody's better to people with disabilities than me. Nobody's fighting for the veterans like I'm fighting for the veterans.
There's nobody that's done so much for equality as I have.
There's nobody more pro-Israel than I am. There's nobody more conservative than me.
There is nobody that respects women more than I do. Nobody would be tougher on ISIS than Donald Trump.
There's nobody's ever had crowds like Trump has had.
There's nobody that understands the horror of nuclear better than me. And nobody even understands it but me. It's called devaluation, the sale of the uranium that nobody knows what it means. I know what it means.
Nobody knows more about trade than me.
Nobody knows the game better than I do.
Nobody in the history of this country has ever known so much about infrastructure as Donald Trump. I know the H-1B. I know the H-2B. Nobody knows it better than me.
Nobody knows politicians better than I do.
Nobody knows more about taxes than I do. Nobody knows more about debt than I do.
Nobody knows the system better than me. Nobody knows this stuff better than me.
Nobody knows more about taxes than I do and income than I do.
Nobody knows more about construction than I do.
Nobody knows more about campaign finance than I do.
Nobody knows consultants better than me.
I know more about drones than anybody. Nobody knows much more about technology, this type of technology, certainly, than I do.
Nobody knows more about technology than me.
I know more about technology than anybody.
Nobody in the history of this country has ever known so much about infrastructure as Donald Trump. I know the H-1B. I know the H-2B. Nobody knows it better than me.
I know more about ISIS than the generals do, believe me. Nobody understands the president, but I think I understand him as well as anybody.
I mean, I know these people much better than you do.
I understand things. I comprehend very well. Okay? Better than, I think, almost anybody. And by the way, who knew the other side of the picture better than me? I knew it.
Nobody knows more about environmental impact statements than me. And I think I know more about the environment than most people.
I know a lot about wind. I know a lot about wind. You know, I know windmills very much. I've studied it better than anybody.
I understand the power of Facebook, maybe better than almost anybody. I know more about renewables than any human being on Earth. Nobody knows more about polls than me.
I know more about courts than any human being on Earth.
I understand healthcare now, especially very well. A lot of people don't understand it.
I know the angles. I know every angle.
I know more about steelworkers than anybody that's ever run for office.
I know more about golf than Obama knows.
And you know, in the case of Turkey and the Kurds, I could go into a whole story because I understand it, I think, better than most.
And I know all about it. I've known about it for a long time. I know the subject better than anybody.
I know. This guy talks about, oh, I know Scranton. I know that. Well, I know the places better.
Nobody knows more about banks than I do.
Nobody knows more about trade than me. Well, obviously, he doesn't know about nuclear weapons. I know more about nuclear weapons than he'll ever know.
But you know Russians better than I do, Kevin, okay? I understand the tax laws better than almost anyone.
Who knows more about lawsuits than I do? I'm the king. I know more about offense and defense than they will ever understand.
Nobody even understands it but me. It's called devaluation.
I understand money better than anybody.
I understand the system better than anybody. Nobody knows more about debt than I do.
Nobody knows the game better than me.
I know more about contributions than anybody.
Even the smart guys on Wall Street, and I know all of them, and they are smart.
And who knows more about the word apprentice than Donald Trump? I understand politicians better than anybody.
Nobody knows politicians better than me. Who knows the other side better than me? Who knows the other side better than me?
I think I know more about the other side than almost anybody. And I understand the other side. Perhaps I understand it better than anybody else. I was the fair-haired boy. Nobody knows more about it than me.
I know more than these politicians. These guys don't know anything.
I know a lot. I know more than I'm ever going to tell you.
Could you believe the boastings of this man? It's incredible. It's incredible. No words to describe this. There's a few recent videos on my YouTube channel if you're interested concerning the Antichrist and the New World Order, the beast system, the world government. I encourage you to go watch those few videos that I recently made. This will help you understand that he is the Antichrist and the man promising peace and the economy is about to crash, and bad things are coming. I'm telling you, get ready.